Thom Hartmann is a progressive radio talk show host. He joins us now. Tom, thank you for your time. Here's your quote from the article that you just wrote. The very same austerity policies that Republicans in Washington are pushing on us are the same policies that are driving Americans to kill themselves. You say that there's science behind this. Is it the same science you use to suggest that Ritalin is used to make kids conservatives? Same science?
I don't recall ever having explicitly said that. I've written 7 books on psychiatry and ADHD.
You want me to play it for you? I got the audio. I can play it for you if you want.
If you'd like, sure.
No, I mean, go ahead and answer the suicide. I will be happy to play that for you in just a second, but go ahead.
I'd have to know exactly what the context of that was, because I have written extensively. As I said, I've written books about Ritalin. I've given speeches on it.
Okay.
I'm a very strong opponent of Ritalin.
I will play it for you in a minute.
There are many conservatives, but nonetheless, no, it's not the same science, whatever that science was. This is pretty solid stuff. I mean, you look at the Australian and British researchers, and the BBC reported on this, did a study of UK and Australian statistics from 1901 to 1998.
What's that got to do with the United States, though, Tom? This is what I don't understand. You're quoting British science and Australian science, and now you're suggesting that...
Well, you were asking about science. I think science is science all over the world. I'll give you U.S. science, if you prefer. The study that was published in the New York Times under the headline, How Austerity Kills, for example, points out the $85 billion sequester that began on March 1st will cut nutrition.
And that started in the Obama White House. That was this president's idea.
No, but Matt, this is the thing that John Boehner, after the negotiation, said, I got 98% of everything I wanted. It's also the thing that during the debate with Mitt Romney, President Obama said, that's never going to happen.
So, I tell you what, Tom, do me a favor.
I'm not going to hold President Obama blameless on this. I think it was stupid that he thought the Republicans would blink.
Tom Hartmann, a progressive radio talk show host, joining us. And Tom, again, I appreciate your time. Thanks for sparring with me. Here's the comment you made about Ritalin we talked about earlier. It runs about 20 seconds.
Low dopamine in the brain, you have creativity, and you have ADD. And according to this most recent study, you have liberalism. And they try to medicate that out of kids by goosing up their dopamine levels with a drug called Ritalin. Are we turning our children into conservatives by medicating them?
Tom, you're not a scientist, right? You were in the newspaper business, I think, before you were in the radio business, and now
actually, I was a psychotherapist before I was in the radio.
Oh, you're a psychotherapist. So that didn't work out so good, so you went into radio. All right.
Great attempt, Matt, to change the subject away from...
No. Let's talk about the... I'm just saying you're
killing people, causing people to commit suicide.
You are... Okay, I want the audience to know that you say these things...
20 hours a day of live program, or 20 hours a week of live programming, and have for 10 years. That's the best quote you can find to discredit me. I would be glad to come back and discuss Ritalin, creativity...
Let's talk about why you feel it is necessary to... Are you going to talk over me? Let me just ask a question. Why do you find it necessary to be tremendously irresponsible with the things you say? If you're such a bright guy, you know as well as I do, saying that austerity programs are causing people to kill themselves is nothing short of tremendously irresponsible.
Here's a verbatim quote from the BBC, from news reporting on a scientific study. Overall, they say, these researchers, the figures suggest that 35,000 people would not have committed suicide had the conservatives not been in power, equivalent to 1 suicide for every day of the 20th century, or 2 for every day that the conservatives ruled. Check it out.
Tom, listen, you know as well as I do, that is the most ridiculous. If you're a psychotherapist before you got into radio, that is a ridiculous. That's not science, and you know that as well as I do. To suggest that people are killing themselves because what? We're not giving them welfare? Because we're not redistributing the wealth? Seriously.
If you're interested in hearing, people are killing themselves because when capitalism stutters, as it does every 20, 30 years, you have these cycles in capitalism where capitalism fails. And if during those cycles, government doesn't step in and say, okay, here's an unemployment check. We're going to, here's health care. We're going to make sure that during this period when you can't make a living because the economy's gone to hell.
Where's that money coming from?
People, it obviously comes from taxpayers. If government doesn't step in during those periods of time, people experience great despair. That despair drives people to suicide.
The idea that taking money from the people that are working and giving it to the people that are not working, giving welfare entitlement programs, has never, ever worked in history, and you know that.
No, actually, that's not true at all, Matt. It works quite well.
Where does it work, Tom? Where did it work? In Spain? Did it work in Greece? Did it work in France? Did it work in the UK?
It actually does work quite well in France and in the UK. Greece is a great example. It's cited in the most recent scientific study that was published in the New York Times on May 12th, 2013. I encourage your listeners to go check it out. The title is How Austerity Kills. And what they point out is that when Greece was plunged into austerity, suicide rates doubled. On the other hand, Germany, which was faced with the exact same economic crisis, passed a law that said that the federal government would give employers. First of all, they asked employers to cut people's working hours back by 40%.
All right, Tom. I think
government would fill in the blank.
You and I can have this conversation all day long. You know as well as I do, the policies of this particular government is not working. The policies in the UK, in Greece, and it's the policies of spending money you don't have is never going to work.
32 years of Reaganomics has hollowed out our country.
I think that you're getting the attention that you're looking for briefly every once in a while. I get it. We have to do things or say things that draw attention to us if we can't do it any other way. I got to run, but I appreciate the fact that you at least came on. I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, I'm pleased to come on anytime, Matt. And as I said, this is real science. Check it out. Just Google it.
Tom?
Science and conservatives.
Thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate it.